What is up, you amazing, wonderful people? It's Nima here, and today I want to ask you a question. How do you always win a game of chance? When does gambling become a consistent source of income for you? Well, the answer to that is, when you cheat. And we are going to talk about a game that's all about cheating here in just a second, but before we get into that, I have to remind you guys to please hit that like and subscribe button for your chance to win my logins for all the adult websites that I subscribe to. Anyway, I picked up Card Shark, namely just because it looked really cool. This game has been out there for a while. A lot of people have known about it. It's been one of those that's been talked a lot about. But it didn't capture me. And then I ended up just watching someone play it on Twitch. They had like early access, I believe, or a beta version, whatever. And I don't know, something about it just seemed really, really interesting. As I got through this game, I started to realize that the story of this game is not really in the cheating, and it's not really in the game of cards. It's more about the game of society, the game of politics, if you will. As you have a second goal in mind. Yes, you want to continue to take money from the rich aristocrats in 18th century France, but you also want to learn information. And that's where a lot of this game is actually formed, is around this mystery that your employer is trying to figure out. This game is very interesting, and I really, really like it. I love the aesthetics, like the graphics, the atmosphere, the whole thing about it. I really think it's kind of cool. I'm also a pretty big fan of period pieces. I just think it's interesting how some of the times are portrayed, if you will. And I will say, the actual gameplay is really cool. It's incredibly creative and a game that I've never really experienced in this sort of manner. It's all about essentially being a card shark. Your whole goal essentially is to dwindle down your opponent's money to the point that they have to give you what you want, and fortunately it's information. But to get to that point, you have to consistently win, and the only way to do that is to cheat. There are over 28 different techniques and maneuvers that you do to ensure that you always win. And each one can be incredibly complicated, to be honest. Like, it's not just one step process. It can be a multi-step thing. All that involve different button combination, to your memory, to doing things like marking a card with another card and then bending it so you remember where the card's at. And all of this plays out on your Joy-Cons, but the thing is, a lot of it has to do with your memory and your ability to remember how to do said techniques, if you will. The intensity really, really drastically increases when you're in the middle of a game and you realize that the stakes are incredibly high. That it's not just about money, it's that your life is on the line. And even then, after you maybe make a wrong move, you get sought out, or something bad happens to you, there is yet another person that you might have to end up cheating. Maybe I shouldn't say person, but another entity that you might end up having to cheat and to earn your ability to come back. I know I've already alluded to a lot there, but I guess what I'm ultimately saying is this game carries some of the most intense stress that I've ever had, but in a good way. Like, there's so many games that I play that you don't want to lose, obviously, but this one, you can literally feel it in the palm of your hand. Like, this is all up to me. This is all up to my technique. It's not how good an opponent is. No, it solely is on me. And that's what this really comes down to, is just your ability to function under stress, under pressure. And there's a gauge at the bottom that shows when the opponent suspects you're doing something, and it's always raising the longer you take. So you have to be quick, you have to be precise, because you still always have to win. And if you don't, like I said, sometimes bad things can happen. I really do enjoy a lot of what this game is and what it's trying to do, but I will say that the story for me, I think, could be a little bit better developed. Maybe not as convoluted, because essentially your employer, if you will, is trying to kind of keep you in the dark as well, and part of that kind of makes it difficult for you to really follow what's going on in the story. Like, you're supposed to be picking up on hints and pieces, but you're also supposed to be remembering, like, techniques and, you know, the cheats that you're doing, so it can be hard to really encase all that information and store it with you while you're really just trying to get further in the game. But really, the information about the French society is the story itself, is the the game. And so you kind of lose some of that when you kind of realize that you were supposed to be remembering some of that stuff, or you're supposed to have a better picture on what was going on in the whole scope of the game. But ultimately, I really like what they did with this game. I've played a lot of visual novels, and none of them really seem to capture what this game does, because you are taking in the story, but you're also entertained, and entertained at a high level, as there is no more thrill than knowing that it's in your hands to continue the story, to cheat your opponent and to win not only money, but secrets. Anyway, if any of you guys are thinking about picking up Card Shark, let me know. I'm curious what your thoughts are, and if this is a game that you're interested in. Either way, guys, I'm wishing you health, wealth, and above all, I hope you're truly happy. Take care.